Hi, I'm Madonna, naturopath and kinesiologist, and this is your tip of the day. My last one was about electromagnetic frequencies, which can damage the blood-brain barrier. So therefore, some people can feel really lots of brain fog, lots of inability to think, lots of uh, short-term memory and things like that, because it can increase the cortisol crossing that blood-brain barrier, making us lose our memory. So I just thought I'd chat through a couple of nutrients that are really good for helping the health and strength of your blood-brain barrier. Now, the first one is turmeric. So you've all heard of activated curcuminoids that are in turmeric. Turmeric has thousands and thousands of studies associated with lowered inflammation in the brain on consumption. So if you go to PubMed and look up turmeric or activated curcuminoids, you will find lots of research into brain health. Another natural substance is resveratrol. Now, resveratrol has been found to reactivate our mitochondria. So our mitochondria gets damaged because of epigenetics. So things in our environment, things that are toxic, that stop our mitochondria from functioning and from releasing ATP, our energy molecule. So resveratrol is one of those natural substances. It's in red wine that, you need 5 liters a day. That's not going to work. But it's one of those substances that's in a lot of really beautifully colored fruits and veggies. Have a look for a list of resveratrol foods, and it's another thing that really helps with the blood-brain barrier. But back to curcumin for a sec, because I've got a nice little list here of other things that it's been researched to do. It helps lower stress hormones. It increases the brain's growth hormone. It reduces hyperpermeability of the blood-brain barrier, which is what we're talking about. It reverses blood-brain barrier dysfunction, and it improves the integrity of the blood-brain barrier. So, and generally reduces inflammation and overall stress. Just about anything that reduces inflammation and stress and oxidative stress in the body is going to help prevent a lot of all-cause mortality. So the big things that get us all, strokes and heart attacks and cancers and things like that. Sulforaphane, you've heard me chat about sulforaphane before. It's in all our things like broccoli and Brussels sprouts and cauliflower and cabbage, and it is another antioxidant that has anti-inflammatory effects. And of course, there's studies on over 200 genes that it has a positive effect on, so that we are releasing inflammation and reducing our toxicity in the body. And studies show that sulforaphane also helps to prevent breakdown of the blood-brain barrier and reduce its permeability. So it's another thing that's fantastic for kids who are neurotoxic, poor little darlings whose brains just don't function very well. It's also fantastic after brain injuries and stroke. Vitamin D, which is, of course, in every single cell of our body, requires vitamin D, and it's one of the things we can create ourselves if we get enough sunshine and eat the right foods. So vitamin D is crucial for the blood-brain barrier as well. And again, modern diets can lack it because it's in things like liver and organ meat, seafood, butter, egg yolks. And how many times are we told to go on a low-fat diet? Chronic stress and elevated cortisol depletes vitamin D. So how many people are chronically stressed? Gut inflammation also reduces the absorption of vitamin D, even though part of the whole leaky gut in the brain, part of the mechanism that helps to connect that little leaky gut in the brain is the mechanism between the cells of the gut is predominantly vitamin D. So there's this little thing called zonulin. When we've got our leaky gut, our zonulin is poking its toe out into the blood from our gut, because there's sort of like the gut in here and the blood out here, and it's poking its toe out into the bloodstream to sort of see what our immune system needs to do. Vitamin D is so crucial for so many things. And obesity can add to vitamin D deficiency as well. And I was chatting about it yesterday, and I'm not sure whether part of it is because if we're overweight, we're less likely to go out in the sun. Maybe we're more likely to wear more clothes. Who knows what it is, but obesity also adds to vitamin D deficiency. Now, in countries like Australia and Canada, they make it almost impossible for us to get really good levels of vitamin D. The governments have limited the amount of vitamin D we can get in supplements. But there is studies that show that when there's a whole bunch of antioxidants together, and I'm not saying our government's in any way our friend, but there is some study to show that the more antioxidants there are in one supplement, the less of a shelf life the whole thing has. So who knows what's going on in that case. But nonetheless, some people do need really quite big doses consistently in order to get their vitamin D levels to a level where their immune system and inflammation is lowered. With B vitamins, particularly B1 and B12, B5 and B9 are really important. So with leaky gut, you can also end up with a high level of homocysteine in the body. And we need activated B6, B9, B12 in order to lower homocysteine, which is a precursor to things like heart attacks and strokes. So our B vitamins are crucial. And of course, they're not in foods that are highly processed. All the Bs are being stolen from those foods. So we're not going to be getting any. So if we're not supplementing with methylated or activated B vitamins, we're going to have problems. And of course, again, that adds to the leaky brain when we're not getting enough of our vitamins and minerals in our diet. Now, magnesium also protects the brain by a huge amount of things. So I'll just have a quick look at the list because there's quite a few. It protects the blood-brain barrier. It supports the mitochondria. It increases the brain growth hormone. It assists in overcoming addictions and withdrawals. And a strong diet includes things like spinach and chard and almonds and avocados, bananas, pumpkin seeds, and dark chocolates. Of course, again, if you don't have issues with some of those plant toxins, which many people do these days because our microbiomes are so damaged. And the other thing is probably the omega-3s. So omega-3s are in things like organic meats, lots of the oily fish, like they're the main things that if we're lucky, we can convert it from vegan and vegetarian sources. But that's a long process to actually do that conversion. So essential fatty acids are important for dampening inflammation and autoimmunity, supports blood vessel and skin health, and the production of hormones. Up to 80% of the population in Western countries is deficient in essential fatty acids. So essential fatty acids, and I don't know whether part of that is because we've been told for the last 40 years that fats are bad, fats are bad, fats are bad. Please remember, fats are good for you. Good fats are good for you. So reduce your, the highly processed foods, increase some of those nutrients in your diet, and hopefully we'll get our brains working so much more effectively. Have a fabulous day. Bye, everyone.